Growth is a guarantee when discipline becomes a daily habit, because discipline is the quiet architect of transformation. It works in the background, building strength in places no one sees and preparing you for opportunities long before they arrive. Most people wait for motivation, but motivation is emotional. It rises and falls like the weather. Discipline, however, is a decision. It's the commitment to show up whether you feel like it or not. And that single decision, repeated daily, becomes the foundation for growth that cannot be stopped. When you make discipline a habit, you're no longer relying on luck or talent. You're relying on structure, repetition, and intention. That's why disciplined people grow faster than everyone else. They don't waste time negotiating with themselves. They don't ask, "Do I feel like it today?" They simply do what needs to be done. And over time, the small, consistent actions you take build a momentum that starts working in your favor. You may not see the growth immediately, but discipline guarantees that eventually you will. Seeds don't sprout overnight, but with daily watering, they always grow. The truth is, most people underestimate the power of 1% improvement. They think growth requires massive breakthroughs or extraordinary effort. But the real breakthroughs come from simple, consistent acts. Reading 10 pages a day, practicing a skill for 30 minutes, waking up at the same time, writing your goals every morning, planning your day instead of drifting through it. These habits seem small, but done daily, they reshape your identity. They tell your mind, "I am someone who follows through." That identity is far more powerful than any moment of inspiration. Discipline also has a way of building confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you become a little stronger. Every time you finish what you started, you trust yourself more. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you prove that you're capable of more than you thought. And confidence built on discipline is unshakable because it's earned. No one can take it from you. What people call growth is simply the visible evidence of invisible habits. The world sees the results, your skills, your achievements, your progress, but it doesn't see the quiet moments when you chose discipline over distraction. Growth is not something you chase. It's something you create through habits that align your actions with your goals. If your habits are weak, your results will be weak. If your habits are strong, your results will be powerful. It's that simple. And discipline is contagious. When you organize one area of your life, other areas begin to improve naturally. When you discipline your time, you start disciplining your thoughts. When you discipline your habits, you discipline your behavior. When you discipline your behavior, you discipline your outcomes. Everything becomes connected. Suddenly, you're not just growing in one direction. You're growing in every direction. Discipline doesn't make life easier immediately, but it makes life better permanently. It demands effort now, but it delivers freedom later. It asks you to delay gratification, but it guarantees a reward that is far greater than any shortcut. Growth is not a mystery. It's its consequence. And when discipline becomes a daily habit, growth isn't just possible, it becomes inevitable. Most people misunderstand the grind. They think the grind is about results, rewards, and recognition. They imagine the grind as a straight path that leads to applause, money, status, or success. But the truth is the grind is not meant to reward you at the beginning. The grind's first purpose is to shape you, not to pay you. It builds the discipline, the patience, and the character necessary to handle what you say you want. And long before life gives you anything, it tests whether you're becoming the kind of person who deserves it. Every great achievement has a secret season, an unseen period where the work is done quietly, consistently, and without applause. Those early mornings when nobody knows you're awake. Those late nights when everyone else is resting. Those choices that look small but carry enormous consequences. That is where champions are formed. That is where leaders are built. That is where the seeds of greatness are planted. But because there is no immediate reward, most people quit long before anything grows. Jim Rohn said, "The major value in life is not what you get. The major value in life is what you become. And the grind is what helps you become more." In those moments of effort, when the world is silent, your mind grows stronger, your character becomes sharper, and your capacity expands. You learn to push through resistance. You learn to keep going without motivation. You learn to show up tired, stressed, or discouraged, and still perform. That is the shaping process. That is transformation. The grind builds emotional muscles. It teaches you patience because growth rarely comes fast. It teaches you humility because you realize how much effort is required. It teaches you discipline because discipline is what pushes you through when inspiration fades. And most of all, it teaches you endurance. Anyone can start. Anyone can be excited for a week. But the person who endures for months and years, that is the person the world eventually calls successful. The grind also exposes your weaknesses. It reveals where you've been lazy, where you've been inconsistent, and where you've been unfocused. Most people see this as failure, but it's actually a gift. Because once you see your weaknesses clearly, you can fix them. You can adapt, adjust, refine, and grow. The grind is both a mirror and a hammer. It shows you what needs to change, and it breaks the parts of you that are holding you back. But here's the part most people don't understand: the reward doesn't come when the grind starts. The reward comes when the grind becomes part of who you are, when you no longer need applause, when you no longer seek validation, when you no longer depend on motivation, when you work simply because it's who you've decided to be. That is when the reward begins to chase you because you have become the person capable of receiving it. Life will always test you in private before it promotes you in public. The grind is that test. It's the quiet contract you sign with yourself, committing to growth long before you see the results. And if you stick with it, if you embrace the shaping process, even when it feels slow, lonely, or invisible, there will come a day when the reward arrives. And when it does, you'll realize it wasn't the reward that made you great, it was the grind. The grind built the mindset, the attitude, the resilience, and the strength that made the reward possible. The reward is simply proof that the grind worked. Comfort is the silent trap that catches more dreams than failure ever will. It feels warm, safe, familiar, and that's exactly why it is so dangerous. Comfort convinces you that good enough is enough. It whispers that you can try tomorrow, start next week, or improve later. And slowly, without realizing it, you trade your potential for convenience, your ambition for ease, and your growth for routine. The truth is, nothing great has ever been built in a comfort zone. Every success story, every leader, every champion, every person who transformed their life did it by stepping into discomfort and choosing challenge over ease. Challenge is not the enemy. Challenge is the catalyst. Challenge is the force that wakes you up, pushes you forward, and makes you stronger. It's the weight in the gym that tears your muscle so it can rebuild bigger. It's the cold morning that tests your discipline. It's the difficult task that forces you to focus. It's the uncomfortable conversation that builds character. Without challenge, you stay as you are, and who you are right now cannot take you to where you want to be. The next version of you is unlocked only through pressure, resistance, and effort. People often fear challenge because they fear failing. But failure is not falling short. Failure is staying the same. You grow when you stretch, not when you stay still. The moment you choose to do what's difficult, something powerful happens inside of you. Your confidence grows because you've proven to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. Your skills grow because you practice what others avoid. Your discipline grows because you show up even when you don't feel like it. And slowly, the things that once scared you become the things that strengthen you. Comfort keeps you small, challenge expands you. Comfort protects your ego, challenge develops your character. Comfort maintains your current life, challenge builds your future. Life offers you two choices every single day, the path of ease or the path of growth. You cannot walk both. If you choose ease now, you pay with regret later. But if you choose challenge now, you get rewarded with growth later. That's the law. ROHN would say, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. And the only way to become better is by stepping in to something that demands more from you. Think about the people you admire, the workers, the entrepreneurs, the athletes, the thinkers, the creators. They did not rise by staying comfortable. They rose by embracing challenge. They built mindsets that see discomfort as a signal, not a stop sign. They understand that every difficult moment is an opportunity disguised as resistance. They are not lucky. They are disciplined. They are not gifted. They are consistent. They are not fearless. They move forward despite fear. Their growth came from the grind. The beautiful thing is, challenge doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be simple. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Read instead of scrolling. Work instead of waiting. Practice instead of postponing. Speak up instead of staying silent. Try again instead of giving up. Every small challenge completed builds a stronger version of you. And when you stack these challenges day after day, you create momentum. And momentum creates transformation. So don't avoid challenge. Invite it. Don't fear discomfort. Use it. Don't seek an easier life. Seek a stronger self. The moment you stop chasing comfort and start embracing challenge, everything in your life begins to rise, because comfort is the enemy. But challenge, with all its pressure and resistance, is the catalyst that guarantees your growth. Most people believe talent is the ultimate advantage. They think success belongs to those born with special gifts, unique abilities, or natural brilliance. But if talent were the only factor, the world would look very different. The truth is, talent may open the door, but consistency is what keeps you in the room. Consistency is the quiet force that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. It doesn't shout, it doesn't brag, but it always delivers results. Talent is a spark. Consistency is the fuel that keeps the fire burning. Think about it. One great effort doesn't change your life. One workout doesn't make you fit. One book doesn't make you wise. One act of discipline doesn't build character. But when you do something repeatedly, daily, intentionally, and with purpose, you begin to create momentum. And momentum is the miracle. It starts slowly, almost unnoticed, almost unimpressive. But as the days pass, the effort compounds, the habits strengthen, and the results multiply. Consistency is a principle as predictable as gravity. If you show up every day, if you improve even slightly, the outcome is guaranteed. The problem is that many people are addicted to intensity, but allergic to consistency. They want fast results, not steady progress. They want excitement, not discipline. They want talent to save them from the work that consistency demands. But nothing meaningful grows in a day. Everything meaningful grows daily. That's the secret. Talent is unreliable if it stands alone. It fades without practice. It weakens without reinforcement. But consistency, no matter how small, builds strength like compound interest. A little today, a little tomorrow, repeated for weeks, months, and years, becomes something powerful. It becomes skill, mastery, confidence, and character. A talented person who shows up sometimes will always be defeated by an average person who shows up every day. Success rewards the consistent, not the convenient. The world is full of talented people who never lived up to their potential because they lacked the discipline to stay the course. But the world is also full of ordinary individuals who achieved extraordinary results because they learned the art of repetition. They understood that the real power lies not in doing something perfectly, but in doing it regularly. Consistency also builds trust. trust in yourself. Each day you follow through. You strengthen a message inside, I can rely on me. That inner trust becomes confidence, and confidence becomes courage. And once you have courage, you begin to attempt things that used to intimidate you. You start to stretch your limits, take on new challenges, and step into bigger roles. That's when growth accelerates. The beauty of consistency is that it doesn't require brilliance. It doesn't ask for perfection. It only asks that you keep showing up. Some days you'll feel motivated, other days you won't. Some days you'll be strong, other days you'll struggle. But the secret is that consistency counts every attempt. It counts every imperfect effort. It counts every small discipline repeated faithfully. The magic of your future lies in those quiet moments when you decide to continue even when you don't feel like it. If you give yourself 6 months of consistency, you will shock yourself. If you give yourself a year, you will transform yourself. If you give yourself 5 years, you will reinvent your entire life. Talent may shine in moments, but consistency builds empires. So forget the pressure of being naturally gifted. Focus instead on showing up daily. If you stay consistent long enough, the world will call you talented anyway. Because consistency has a way of making greatness look effortless. Most people spend their lives trying to fix the world around them, when the real secret is learning to fix the world within. You don't start by changing your circumstances. You start by changing yourself. Because when you improve who you are, what you have and what you attract begins to transform automatically. The greatest investment you will ever make is not in business, not in assets, not in opportunities, but in your personal growth. Build yourself first, and everything else grows afterward. You see, life responds to the person you become. If you become stronger, life gets easier. If you become wiser, life becomes clearer. If you become more disciplined, life becomes more predictable. Most people want the rewards without the refinement, the results without the responsibility, and the success without the self-development. But that's not how life works. Jim Rohn used to say, if you want more, become more. That one sentence is the whole formula. When you build yourself, you're not just adding knowledge. You're reshaping identity. You're building confidence from the inside out. You're strengthening habits that quietly influence every moment of your day. You're developing a mindset that refuses to settle for average. And once your mindset shifts, your choices shift. When your choices shift, your routines shift. And those routines, repeated consistently, begin to produce a new level of results that once seemed out of reach. People often ask why their situation never improves. It's simple. Circumstances can't grow if the person in them refuses to. You can't get a raise with the same skills that keep you in the same position. You can't attract better relationships with the same attitudes that ruined the last ones. You can't build a powerful future with the same thinking that created your past. Growth starts inside, always. Building yourself first means committing to habits that stretch you. Reading when you feel tired. Practicing when others are resting. Learning skills that don't pay you today, but will reward you for a lifetime. It means valuing discipline over distraction. It means saying no to the wrong things so you can say yes to the right ones. It means recognizing that every hour spent on self-improvement compounds like interest, quietly accumulating until one day it explodes into visible success. And here's the beauty: when you grow, everything you touch grows with you. Your income reflects your value. Your opportunities reflect your readiness. Your relationships reflect your maturity. Your decisions reflect your clarity. Life becomes a mirror. Whatever you build internally is echoed externally. This is why the grind matters. Not because grinding makes life harder, but because grinding makes you harder to stop. You don't need to build everything at once. Just start with yourself. Strengthen your discipline. Improve your communication. Deepen your learning. Expand your thinking. When you work harder on yourself than you do on your job starts paying you more. When you work harder on your character than on your image, people begin trusting you more. When you work harder on your potential than on your excuses, doors start opening that once seemed sealed shut. The world doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to preparation. And preparation begins inside you. If you want a better life, build a better you. If you want stronger results, build stronger habits. If you want bigger opportunities, build a bigger mindset. Growth isn't magic. It's the natural effect of personal development. Build yourself first and watch how effortlessly everything else begins to rise with you. Don't chase success. Become the person success is attracted to. That single idea can change the direction of your entire life. Most people spend their days running after opportunities, hoping luck will finally turn their way, praying that something outside of them will shift. But the truth is far more empowering. Success is not something you pursue. Success is something you attract by the person you become. If you want better results, you have to become better. If you want bigger rewards, you have to grow into someone capable of handling bigger responsibilities, bigger ideas, and bigger habits. Success has a personality. It doesn't show up for the unprepared, the inconsistent, or the unfocused. Success gravitates toward discipline, responsibility, clarity, and character. It is attracted to people who are constantly improving themselves, who treat every day like an opportunity to rise instead of a reason to rest. When you work on yourself, when you sharpen your mind, when you strengthen your habits, you send a message to life. I'm ready for more. Most people mistake activity for progress. They're busy, but not becoming better. They chase everything except the one thing that truly matters, their own development. But when you shift your focus inward, when you commit to growth, learning, and discipline, everything in your outer world begins to change automatically. Your circle improves, your opportunities increase, your confidence strengthens. Not because you chased success, but because you created a version of yourself that success naturally recognizes and wants to work with. Think of success like a magnet. The stronger you become, the more powerful your magnet becomes. The weaker your habits, the weaker your attraction. You don't need to beg for results. You need to build the foundation that produces them. Build the mindset, the discipline, the patience, the skill set, and the work ethic that align with the life you want. When you do that, opportunities start finding you instead of you chasing them down. And here's the beauty: you don't have to transform overnight. You just have to be committed. You just have to decide that growth is no longer optional. A little bit of progress every day creates a person who eventually becomes unstoppable. Read the book. Learn the skill. Wake up earlier. Practice longer. Think deeper. Move with intention. Every step you take toward a better version of you increases your value, and the world rewards value without fail. Jim Rohn used to say, "Success is something you attract by the person you become." That means your future is not determined by luck or circumstances, but by your willingness to improve. If you want a life of abundance, become a person who thinks abundantly. If you want opportunities, become someone who prepares before the opportunity arrives. If you want respect, build integrity. If you want wealth, learn discipline. You cannot expect a level of success that your current habits are not built to sustain. So stop chasing. Stop running after outcomes. Stop hoping something changes by chance. Instead, build yourself with purpose. Turn your energy inward. Make your daily actions a reflection of the future you desire. Success will come when you're ready, when your character, attitude, habits, and mindset align with the results you dream of. Become the person who is prepared, disciplined, and hungry for growth. Become the person success is drawn to. When you transform yourself, your life transforms automatically.